trying to get in the Christmas spirit, but all of my algorithms are feeding me emo songs from my childhood and unlocking core memories that I once thought were buried. Makes it kind of hard to be in the Christmas spirit, doesn't it? Not in a bad way, but in a very nostalgic way. Just out here vibing to Nickelback and Breaking Benjamin. I think we're good. I'm not quite on center, am I? Merry Christmas, everybody. Welcome to another video. If you're new here, my name is Infiniti, and I am the face, the voice, and the hands behind all the crochet and knitting content behind this channel and behind InfinityCraftingCompany.com. And this, okay, so in years past, I have done Christmas videos, usually because there's nothing on, on Christmas. And I know I work on Christmas, and I know there are a lot of other people that also work on Christmas. So I always try to kind of put out videos so that you have something to listen to in the background, or if you want to hang out, because sometimes the holidays are a little lonely for folks. Just a myriad of reasons, okay? All right, but today I am here and I feel accomplished, which I will get to in a moment. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe, all that fun YouTube stuff, or if you're watching this on Rumble, don't forget to hit the follow button, because I'd love to have you here going forward, because Lord knows 2026 should be a very exciting year. So, goodness, where do I begin? See, I write down notes. I don't have a script. I write down notes for these channel chats, and I still end up not quite knowing where I want to start with things, but I will start with this because I actually meant to do a channel chat sooner than Christmas Day, but obviously I did not get around to that. It's just been busy, and I have been taking care of everything and everyone, so it is what it is. But I want to say a huge thank you to everyone who participated in my birthday sale over the month of November. It turned out a lot better than I was expecting, and I can't really put it into words, okay? Because if you are new here, I took a year and a half off and came back in October for my channelversary, and I just didn't know how the channel or anything else was gonna play out, but I just wanted to come back and do my thing anyhow, and it just turned out really great. So I got to send my artwork to new homes, and that is one of the things that is very fulfilling to me with my business. And I thought about it while I was fulfilling orders, and I'm like, you know what would be fun if I started tracking like which states my pottery pieces go to, okay, or my other items in the handmade shop. So I got a map printout, and I started coloring them in, okay? And so I'd actually ended up mailing stuff out to a total of 9 states, which I hadn't realized before previously, and that was really exciting. But then I got like a referral on Twitter, so I accidentally ended up with a 10th state this year. And so just from the bottom of my heart, thank you. I mean, you know, when you're in art school, or at least the art school I went to, okay, you tend to go through these classes that are like art/business, and the one that I went through, it, you know, the teacher was like, oh, okay, you know, art is actually a grueling field, which I agree with. And I think it's something high, like 94% of art businesses or artists end up failing or not working in their fields. And I can see why, honestly. But putting that into perspective, I'm very grateful that I can say that I have shipped my artwork out to multiple states around this great country, and that people enjoy what I've made with the work of my hands, because that's always been a big deal here for me on this channel, is just being able to live by the work of my hands. And so through art, my artistry, I've been able to do that just a wee bit, and that has been very fun. So I look forward to ramping that up going forward, and just seeing where Infiniti Crafting Co goes in 2026. This is going to be a lax episode and it might be kind of rambly. I am sorry. I feel like I have not been on camera forever. But I did manage to do some serious stitching between the last channel chat and this one, and fulfilling orders and running around like a chicken with my head cut off. But it's neither here nor there. But first and foremost, I just want to say, I have been around so many people here recently that have talked about how 2025 has been a real kick in the pants, okay? Yeah, friends, it has. I concur. This year was definitely a roller coaster for me, emotionally, physically, mentally. I mean, January started off on a high note, and then the end of January I got sick. And it was so bad. It was so bad. Like, I usually laugh so I don't cry, or laugh to get through it. But I was down and out for a solid 2 weeks. I mean, I had like 103-degree fever for 4 days that I beat out. It was a battle of will, but I got it. But yeah, it was just really gnarly food poisoning, which was quite unfortunate. But anyway, recovered from that, and then the months between, I want to say, March and August, September, we don't talk about those months. And friends, I can't say what the Lord has in store for the rest of you. I don't know what you've been through, but perhaps this year for a good chunk of us has just been a year of sanctification, of reforging, if you will, because whatever it is that's coming up in our future, we needed to be prepared for it in some capacity. So, may the future months be a come down period, but let them be more blessed than they were these last few months. Let me tell you. But anyway, I am so glad and blessed that now things are calming down, and I'm going to knock on wood. You guys might think my table is all laminate, but it's actually wood underneath it. I just kind of covered it up with tiles. Knocking on wood there. Anyway, I just choose to believe that there is something greater for all of us in this next chapter of life. Lord, I certainly hope so. As far as, ambitions, or maybe it's relationships, I don't know, maybe new friendships. Who absolutely knows? New work opportunities, new business opportunities. I don't know. I know there's certainly a lot that I won't speak to for 2026, but there are like some key milestone points that I am very much looking forward to, and that the ball is already in motion for. So I'm just going to choose to continue to look up, because while the Bible tells us to look up, right, there's also just this theory of mine that your life or your situation goes in the direction that you're looking. So if you're always looking at the ground and being cautious about your feet and things, you're going to shuffle. You're going to take baby steps, and it's going to prolong whatever crap you're going through. And you're going to continue on that downward path. But if you look up, you're probably looking up at something really cool, okay? And so you're not really focused on your footsteps, and you're probably less likely to stumble. So, unless, I will put in the caveat that some of us are a little clumsy, but I digress. You know what I mean here. So I'm just going to keep looking up and being positive, and that's how I keep looking and moving forward most of the time. I know when I get on here, or like when I interact with people or do like public speaking or something like that, I come off very bubbly most of the time, and you'll be shocked. You'll be flabbergasted to know that that is not always the case. I am a moody soul, okay? But I find that if I gotta get up and put my pants on one leg at a time, I might as well try to do it in good spirits and try to find at least one thing, and it doesn't matter how minute it is. I'm gonna find that one thing to be excited about and look forward to, and let that start kind of ramping up that bubbliness. So by the time I'm in front of people or out doing my thing, I can actually operate within my character kind of there. So anyway, that's just some of my philosophy going into next year, because Lord knows I needed to remind myself of that. I mean, and one of the ways I did that this year was just like thrifting books. So one of my hobbies that I don't put out on the channel is that I like to read. I've always liked to read, and I went on a very, 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 very long reading slump until 2022. And I started just kind of casually reading again, this thing and that thing. And now it's kind of spiraled out of control, to be honest. But I think it's a good thing to rekindle hobbies or things that sparked joy once upon a time. And for me, that was definitely books. And so being able to maybe spend $5 and get a new book or a new manga or something made my day. Very tiny, minute, inconsequential thing, but it's my thing, you know? So that's what that made that special. So that's my special thing that I would kind of look forward to maybe once a month or something throughout this year. And now I am at a point where my TBR is consuming my space, because like I store my unread books in a different spot than my read books, and I have a whole spreadsheet because I'm weird and I like spreadsheets and math and all kinds of stuff. So anyway, I'm just keeping tabs, and I feel I kind of justify my habits by like, okay, my total book collection was already pretty big, but if I can keep the ratio of read books to unread books at about 30%, or at least beneath 45%, then I'm good. And right now I am sitting at a solid 38%, and I'm happy with that. But really here lately I have been going back and collecting some of the books that I read when I was younger, or some of the classics that I really wanted to read when I was in high school, but I actually didn't go to high school, so a lot of missed opportunities there. But now that I'm an adult, and I've been an adult for a while, I get to kind of go back and parse through some of those and actually get to read some of the stories that I thought would be cool to read. And I'm finding that some of them are cool and some of them are boring. I'd rather read the Book of Numbers, you know, which has put me to sleep many, many, many times in the past. But anywho, now, you guys, if you've been around for a while, you know that I do actually love Christmas. And for that long, 7 years? 7? Something like that, because the channel just turned 8. So for the 7-year run that I had, every year I would come on and do something goofy, chaotic, and fun for Christmas. And in 2022... gonna say 2022. Okay, I felt like it was 2023, but I actually looked back at the pattern and published date and stuff. I'm like, oh my god, it was a whole year. But anyway, you might be able to tell by the sweater that I love Christmas, but this year I didn't decorate. I bought gifts for people, I did all the things, but I didn't feel like decorating. I mean, the best I can do here is my lights right now. I feel like after the year that I've had, you know, I just want to chill. I just want something to be lax, okay? And so that meant not decorate. If that meant not decorating this year, then so be it. Me and my grandmother were both talking about it. It's like we're not in a bad mood or anything, but I don't know. Just part of, I don't know, taking the slow road, maybe. That's how we'll put it. In that being chill, I feel blessed to have a roof over my head. I am thankful for my family, my friends, my businesses, you know, the support groups that I have, my community. I'm vibing, I'm chilling. Which also reminds me that I will be, usually in years past, okay, I do like a haul thing on Christmas, and I'll show off what I bought myself or what I bought Infiniti Crafting Co. for Christmas. But again, I was taking care of everything and everyone, so I actually didn't start that ball rolling until Christmas Eve. So it will be probably the first video back. Everything will probably be in by then, and I'll go through the stuff that I got, and not all of it's yarn related. But yeah, typically I do my own shopping stuff for Christmas. I'm not like, everybody likes getting things, but I'm not particularly picky or moody about, oh, I gotta have Christmas presents from people or else you don't love me. I'm not like that. So like a gift card of any sort and I'm good. I just go and do my own thing, mind my own business, stay in my own lane, continue to be moisturized and enjoy whatever it is I want to put my hands on, which is generally the case with older people. We tend to like cash gifts and things like that, just to go kind of put our hands on other things. Or should I say some people, because some people do kind of revel in the gift giving part of Christmas. So back to the crafting, back to the crocheting. Okay, I didn't do anything Christmas specific this year. I did. So this sweater I think is enough, and funny enough, people really like it. Between the TikTok and the Twitter, it kind of did numbers. And I'm like, okay, out of everything that I posted over the last few months, this is the thing that does numbers that people want to talk about. But anyway, I yesterday finished the Florist Snood tutorial. I finished recording it. Let me put it that way. And I transferred everything over to my editing computer, so I will be working on, during my downtime, putting that together so that it can be up and rendered before New Year's Day. So I originally was going to say this weekend, but give me till the 31st and it'll be up on the blog. And I get to finish out writing that blog. I'm like, what happened to my material list? I cannot find it. And I guess I didn't type it in, but thankfully I have the old pattern and the material list is the same. So that'll be fun. But I also think I mixed up my crochet hooks for that pattern, because I think typically with that cotton yarn I'll use a 5.5 millimeter. And when I picked it up again, when I picked up the project again, it started coming out smaller than the original, which was this one. So I ended up washing, because the other one's red, so I ended up washing it and trying to stretch it and block it and such, but it's cotton yarn, it ain't working like that. So anyway, it's drying on the line over there, living its best life. If I want a red one, I'll remake it, but that one is more child size, like toddler child size. And so when I looked at my hook, it said 5 millimeters, and I'm like, this is suspicious. So anyway, just one of the joys of putting a project down and picking it back up again, because I looked back at the date stamp on when I started mapping out that particular blog post for Hey Crafterpreneur, and it was like April 27th. So it was I definitely had intended to release that over the spring. So oops, but life happened. So at least it's coming now before the end of the year, and I can finally take that weight off of my sparkly shoulders. Also, sorry my voice is going in and out. I don't know about where you guys are located, but I'm in the Midwest. One day it's 10 degrees and snowing, and the next day it's 60. Today is Christmas, and I think it's supposed to get up to almost 74 degrees. I wish the weather knew what it wanted to do in life. I really do. So yeah, the Florist Snood is out of the way, and I'm also casting off the America cardigan or kimono that I've been working on since last April. Last April, not this April. And it's amazing. I am so glad to finally be at this point, as I was again knitting around the collar and the hem, and I'm sewing it together at the corners, because I think the original math, it was something like 680 or 660 stitches that I would need. And like I talked about in the last channel chat, it's too few stitches. That yarn doesn't stretch because it's a cotton and it's a 2-weight string cotton, so it ain't stretching. So instead of just knitting the hem and collar separately and sewing it on, I picked up along the edges, and that led me to having a whopping total of 707 stitches. that I have knit up in the rib stitch. I love the kimono. I'm so happy that I'll be done with the design and able to share it with my community for next year. I don't want to see that yarn weight again for a while, which is really unfortunate because I have more yarn in that yarn weight and I kind of want to make something out of it, but at the same time, for the sake of my sanity, I am going to move on to my current 4-weight project, which is that cranberry colored sweater thing that I was working on. What was it, back in November and October, end of October, something like that. Anyway, I need a break from the tiny knitting. I just do. One more day of staring at those 2.75 millimeter knitting needles and I'm gonna scream. And you know, I know people knit socks and maybe use like a 1.75 millimeter or something like that, but again, those are socks. That's a very tiny situation going on, project wise. We're not talking about a ginormous kimono edging, okay? I am done. I've been working on this project for well over a year and 8 months. It's time. So anyway, I'm so stoked that those 2 projects are coming to an end. And it's always fun at the end of the year to what am I trying to say? To just have that one last cast off. I'll probably be done with that cast off by New Year's as well. So then I'll get to release that in the first few weeks of January like I intended. So yeehaw. But yeah, so I'm gonna finally take a break for the most part, which honestly will probably last a few days. Because I don't know, I can't sit still for too long. I do enjoy a good break, but if I'm doing absolutely nothing beyond 2 or 3 days, then probably even before then, I don't know, I get the itching to do something with my hands and my brain cells. So we'll see how the relaxation goes. And I should probably take my lights off my neck before I forget about them. But we'll see how relaxation goes. To be honest, I'll probably still be working on a few things in my downtime, but I'm going to take the next few weeks to kind of, I don't know, revamp and bounce back. Not that I'm burnt out or anything, but as I've been chatting with my friends on Twitter, why did I say it like that? It could be that I just go all the time. And I know I've put out videos this year about laboring to rest, right? It's one of my great flaws. Okay. And I think that anybody that is like either like the main decision maker in things, or like a caretaker or a parent or a business owner, I think y'all get it, right? Because you're just like, you're always coming up with these ideas, especially as creatives. We're always coming up with these freaking ideas. And we always want to work and start building on them and executing and doing. But much like I tell other people all the time, even the Lord took a day of rest after he created the world. So what, like, who are you to think that you can go 24/7, you know? But you don't really think on it like that necessarily when you're in the mode of just doing. You're just like, I'll rest when I'm dead. And the Lord's like, well, that'll be sooner than you think if you don't chill out. So, but I don't think I'm burned out per se, but I do think that just generally this year I have been constantly trying to evolve, maybe, I don't know, or constantly trying to do that 1% thing that I mentioned in the last several videos. And if you're doing 1% all the time, at every hour, every other day, then at some point you're gonna fizzle. And so I've been much quieter than I had been throughout the rest of the year over there, and I feel kind of weird about it because usually I'm yapping and sharing scriptures and expounding upon philosophies and just being weird and random, and then the last month of the year I'm just like kaput, barely putting up posts or like barely yapping with people. just mostly liking posts instead of coming up with thoughtful responses. And it could just be that I'm thinking too much into it. Because to be honest, it's the holidays. Nobody's really online, but still at the same time. Sometimes I just have to kind of take a deep breath and realize that you can't be at 100% all the time. So it's all good. And I don't mean it in a complaining bad way. I'm just basically doing too much in my own head. And so this is just my time to, I don't know, bring it in. Because even my eloquence is gone. Okay? I'm thinking the things, but by the time it gets to my mouth, it doesn't want to come out. And I know words and sentence structure and conversation, but now that I'm looking at this, I forgot. Okay, so let me rewind before I get to the last part of this channel chat. When I put out the Watching Me sweater, I mentioned that I run into the age-old problem of discontinued yarn, namely this stuff. It's on hand, but mainly this stuff. It is the Bernat Forever Fleece finer version that Michaels had out probably 3-4 years ago now. And basically, a couple weeks after I bought it, it was just gone. Why didn't you bring it back, guys? It was working for you. But my yarn rant will come in a future episode, okay? So anyway, in the material list, I put out recommendation about a different yarn that you could use for the main green part of the sweater. Now, my only qualm with that is this original yarn is a neon green, okay? And it's technically a 5 weight, right? But I would really classify that as a firm, a thick 4 weight yarn, okay? Definitely wouldn't put this in the Centro. I have a video out about that. But in my mad hunt, spent all year mad hunting. Now that I think about it, that's why it took so long this year to get through some things, because I was working on that sweater. But I was looking for a substitute for that particular yarn, and the closest thing I could do was get was to match up a chenille yarn, because you know that the accent colors, except for the black part of the Watching Me sweater, are chenille yarn. So one day when I was in the Dollar Tree, I saw the Premier Just Chenille yarn that I'd recommended but hadn't gotten around to actually buying to show you guys on camera, and so I was very grateful that I could find a mini version for $1.25. But this is the chenille version, and look wise, it looks a little bit thicker than the original, right? It looks that way, but feel wise, they feel about the same. And this one's also a 5 weight, if I'm not mistaken. This one says 6, but I could have sworn on their website the cone of it said 5, which you would only need 1 cone for that. So basically, all that to say is that you can use this particular yarn for a substitute for the Forever Fleece Finer, which I meant to mention a long time ago, but again, everything's in chaos. I kind of want to tear down everything. It's been a while since I've done it. I think it was it 2021 when I finally got this side of my studio open and cleared up. Because if you've been around for a while, if you've been a long time viewer, I know this is going back a few years, you remember there was a big shift after my summer hiatus from over there, open space, to over here where it's more cozy, which I adore. However, ever so often I get an itch to rearrange things, and I think that's normal. So I won't be dramatic about it, but I do kind of want to shift around, change up walls. And I've wanted to do this before, but one of the main reasons that I didn't, there's always noises. Anyway, one of the main reasons that I didn't was because of this triptych that I painted of different skylines. And we have bolted studs in the walls in these 3 spots, which was perfect. 2 of them are lower than the center one. Maybe I'll actually like snap a picture of this wall, but 2 of the bolts are lower than the one in the middle, and I thought that it was perfect because the skylines that I decided to paint was dawn, midday, and dusk. Okay, so it's just very appropriate that, you know, it works out. It works out in a design aspect. Okay, I'm very weird about that, but I always keep my street cred, which is my yarn stash, behind me in these videos so people recognize it as, oh, the Craft Lady channel. And it's kind of weird calling yourself a knitwear designer if you have no yarn behind you, not even a little bit. So anyway, I wanted to long put all of my yarn behind me in the background. Like, this is not the entirety of my yarn stash. I got stuff in crates. Well, actually, no, that's made stuff. Anyway, I got stuff in whip baskets and whatnot, but I actually have another shelf over there. Sassy old woman. Anyway, my grandmother, she yells down here, and then I give her a response, and then she sasses and doesn't think that I can hear her because she can't hear me responding to her, and it's always fun. But anyway, I actually have another yarn shelf over there with all my cotton skeins from when I was making the water bottle holders. Was that last year or a year before last? Anyway, I have a whole another shelf, and it also has wool on the very top that overflows from the wool that's back up here. Okay, because like this is my fancy shelf behind me, but anyway, I digress. I'm rambling. And my thinking is that maybe this wall is long enough to house 4 shelves, but there is also a high possibility that if I take all my yarn down from these shelves and start moving things, there's a high possibility that they will not all fit, and I will sit and stare at my failure for about a week. So I don't know, I'm still trying to figure that out, or maybe just, I don't know. I've thought about putting my walls on that wall, but there's no plugs. Well, there's one, but there's not enough plugs over there for all my stuff that's plugged up here to the side. So I don't know. It's always a fun time trying to arrange or design a room, but that's beyond the point. There are definitely things that I want to announce that I've been putting in the works this very short period of me being back, but I will announce those things again, probably that first episode back, and then do a couple separate videos on them. I'll be sending out emails and such to my members because there's some things changing with that as well, but there are a few reasons that I have not put them out yet, right? And one of the big ones is just not wanting to overwhelm myself, not wanting to burn myself out trying to commit to the things that I have put out on the internet and mentioned. So I know that the stuff that I'm planning on doing is going to take a little bit of time, and I want to be very careful about the things that I am setting up. So this gives me time, a little breathing room, a little extra reflection time to do that. And then another reason I've put this off, I don't know how to word this delicately, but the end of the year is the downright diabolical, nasty time to announce anything. While I've been finishing projects and stuff, I have a series of favorite YouTubers that I watch, and sometimes they come out with end of the year announcements for business stuff or changes that they're doing, and by the time you scroll through the comments a little bit, people are just not having it, and I don't have time for that. I have a very cheerful spirit about my business, and I don't feel like being snarked at or torn down about it, so I just kind of wait till after the holiday season when people kind of laxed out, and yeah, have more time for what I'm actually trying to say, which I am also mapping out, not scripting, but definitely structuring those videos for where I make my announcement so that it's very clear who the videos are for and who they're not for, and all of that fun jazz. Because I also got war flashbacks reading through some people's comments. I'm like, I understand why some creators don't read their comments. I do. I really do. Not that I generally have that in my community. I did a little bit for a while there, but I'm gonna choose to believe the best in people and just, again, wait till after the holidays and people are less stressed out. But yeah, and then I guess another big thing is just that it's going to take time to implement. If I announce in January, then, or like, yeah, January, or around the middle of January, I feel like probably within 30 days, stuff will start popping off a little bit. And so that gives me time to watch the dust settle and then be able to implement those changes as I see fit. So yeah, I think these are reasonable reasons. But like I said, I am going to take off. Is this the last week? It was the last full week of December. But anyway, I probably won't be back with another long form video until the middle of January. You'll see shorts come up. I know I've been posting them. I've been experimenting with the channel and different platforms, to be honest, with my short form content, just kind of seeing what tracks where, but also trying to keep my pages active. Mostly, again, my video channels, so my YouTube and Rumble, and then my Instagram and my Facebook tend to go neglected sometimes, so I try to schedule up these posts so that there's something going, for those communities, because yeah, at some point all of them became pretty big in my book. Okay, in my book, just think about it. If you're watching this either on YouTube or Rumble, both of those respective channels have over 21,000 people on them. That's about 45,000 people that I'm in front of with those two platforms alone, let alone my other ones where, you know, Facebook, I have like 24,000 people, and then my Instagram is actually small, way smaller than that. It's like 1,000 people, 1,030, something like that, but still a very large quantity of people. Okay, and you know, I feel like people, they follow you for a reason, and so why waste their efforts in hitting that follow button or the subscribe button if you're not gonna post anything at all? So anyway, I've been putting up my content and just kind of seeing what resonates and how it resonates and things like that, and I feel like across the board it's been pretty decent, and just kind of regaining that consistency of just having stuff up and out there has definitely helped. So like, none of my channels are big dead, and so I am glad, because I took off so long. That was definitely one of the concerns that I had. Why am I fidgeting with this? But anyway, that was one of my concerns about coming back. I'm like, okay, I haven't touched this channel in a year and a half. I haven't posted any shorts or anything in a year, and the algorithm is not going to like me very much. But that ended up not being true, and apparently I still have most of my core audience, maybe less, probably like 30 people. So it's not bad considering, and my hope is that as I continue to play around with different things, that I'll actually reach more of the people that follow. Oh my God. I'll actually reach more of the people that follow me, maybe, on some platforms, and then maybe I'll find new people as well, because, you know, the bigger the fam, the better. But either way, those are all the things going on in my little wheelhouse here. I hope you guys have had a blessed holiday, that you've been able to rest, hang out with friends and family if that's your deal, or, you know, just, I don't know, do something nice for yourself, because Lord knows some of us don't know how to do that. But anyway, you guys can let me know in the comments, what did you end up doing for the holidays? What do you have planned for the New Year's? Are you going out? Did you decorate this year? Did you have a major life event? Did you travel? Let me know down in the comments and I will respond to them. But other than that, I hope you guys have a blessed rest of the year, and until next time, happy making. Woo, okay guys, this is future Infiniti. I totally forgot that I said I would take a picture of this wall over here with my paintings. So yes, ignore my light stripping. So I think it was, I want to say it was at the end of 2022 when I was in that particular painting class, but we had to do landscapes or skylines or whatever, and I remember I got this picture from the parking lot of my school. It was such a beautiful morning, and I was always getting there at like 6:30 in the morning, so the sun was just coming up. It was absolutely gorgeous. This one, I didn't have my license yet, and part of the neighborhood route on the way back from the bus stop this was like the top of some houses and the trees behind it. My focal point was the trees. The heck with architecture. And then this was actually, this last one is at night, just before dark. It was like 7 o'clock at night, and our furnace had went out that particular year. Some switch needed to be replaced, and it was going to be a few days before our contractor came out to fix that for us. So I ended up at a Home Depot getting space heaters, and I was like, oh man, that's gorgeous. And I took a picture because I always find a happy moment in inopportune times. But yeah, so this is my wall, and if I take these down, I have no idea where I'm going to hang them because wall space is limited. I have paintings all over my house. So yeah, anyway, who knows in what condition the studio will be in next year, but I'm all here for figuring that out.